Ahlan wa sahlan, viewers. Welcome to today's episode of Loadshedding, a show that focuses explicitly on the current affairs pertaining to the continent of Africa. And today we shall be focusing on the positive news. My name is Kees Kibinda. Who of you remembers the Arab Spring that spread across North Africa like a wildfire a couple of years ago, where so-called dictators were forcibly removed by locals with little help from the West? And what was left behind was, well, a vacuum really, because the transition from dictatorship to democracy was so abrupt that things didn't really go according to plan, we can say, years later. And, well, democracy was never really enforced because these people that ousted the dictator, or the so-called dictator that is, don't really know what democracy is, nor do they know how to implement it. And the countries that so-called fueled these Arab Springs were never really there for the countries afterwards either. And, well, in some countries this caused more, well, confusion and more terror, let's say, than was actually there during the reign of some of these leaders. I mean, look at Libya with Gaddafi. Now that Gaddafi is gone, ISIS has come in and, well, let's just say that democracy is far from happening in that country. And in Egypt as well. Egypt has had its fair share of ups and downs with regards to the Arab Spring. You know, Hosni Mubarak was ousted and he's put on trial, a trial that is still going on today. He was succeeded by Mohamed Morsi, who reigned for maybe a year, and now also he is on trial as well for so-called crimes against humanity, or for crimes against humanity. So, you know, there is some confusion going on. What next? But that is not what I want to talk about today. I do want to talk about Egypt, but I want to tell you something positive, something that has happened recently, last month actually, that really lit a light up. You see, a new governor was voted in office, and this is the governor I'd like to talk about today. Egypt has 27 governorates, which are at the top tier. Well, these governorates are at the top tier of the country's jurisdiction hierarchy. And these governorates are then controlled by the governor, and the governor is appointed by the country's president. In this case, the Beheira Governorate has its new governor appointed by the current president, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Now, there might be some skeptics amongst you that say, well, this governorate has been given a female governor because it is but a small governorate within the country. Well, to you I say, don't be so quick to make such decisions. You see, okay, there's 4.5 million people living in the rural areas and only 1.1 million people living in the urban cities of the governorate. But this governorate does contribute positively and greatly towards the economic backbone of Egypt. You see, it produces cotton, chemicals, carpets, fishing, as well as electricity for the entire country. So who is this very first governor, female governor of Egypt? Well, this is no other than Nadia Ahmed Abdou Saleh. And here's a bit of a life history as to who she is. She went to the Alexandria University and graduated from the Faculty of Engineering and Chemistry in 1965. She also holds a master's in health engineering from the very same institution. For a decade, from 2002 until 2012, she was head of the country's holding company for water and wastewater. In the meantime, she also founded the Arab Countries Water Utilities Association and is a member of the World Water Council. She started her political career 7 years ago when she won a parliamentary seat on the ticket of the now defunct National Democratic Party. Her party was dissolved a year after she joined. The NDP was implicated in issues related to poll rigging, which led to the uprising that toppled Hosni Mubarak's regime. She previously held the post of deputy governor in 2013, as she was appointed for her role in development and innovation. And now, of course, she is appointed the governor of the Beheira Governorate, which is located in the Nile Delta, in the country's far north. So there you have it, a female governor in Egypt, a country that is both Arabic as well as African. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the matter. Do you think that there's a place for female politicians in the Arabic world, in Africa, or in Africa as a whole? Well, I know that there's many more African female politicians, but I really like to know from you, do you really think that this is something that a woman should be doing? And what are your thoughts on the Arabic Spring as well as a whole? Do you think that it was a good thing? Do you think it was a bad thing? Do you think that it should never have happened? I'm curious as to know what your thoughts are on the matter. And as usual, of course, you can place your comments in the boxes below, or you can send me a message, inbox me. I'm sure that you know my email addresses by now. So that's it for today. Please, in the meantime, subscribe to me on both Facebook and YouTube, and of course, follow me on Twitter. See you next time. Goodbye.